Welcome back. Throughout history, rebels have been romantic characters. They've captured our imagination, and in this country, Australia, what greater rebel was there than Ned Kelly, a man hanged as a criminal? But we're about to be joined by a lady intent on defending his honour. Please welcome Yvonne Nicholls. Welcome to our show, Yvonne.
I'm very happy to be here on this assignment.
Right, OK. Well, the assignment mainly is to prove the good character of Ned Kelly, right?
Yes, quite. If one has to choose between a scoundrel and a hero, one must say he's a hero. He's the only folk hero we have, and he is acclaimed as the father of our national courage, game as Ned Kelly, and the heart of Australian literature.
What about those people who consider him to be a cop killer and a criminal?
They're people who are very ignorant and too lazy to look at the details. He never was a murderer. He might have been guilty of manslaughter, and he was brought up to face the most awful things you can imagine. His father died when he was 11, and he was the eldest son of a family with 7 of them. And at the age of 11, he had to look after that family. And you had an interview last week with Clayton Barbeau.
Clayton Barbeau, dear friend of ours.
Who said that the young today don't leave adolescence until 27. And this poor child was 11 and had to assume the responsibilities of a stand-in father.
Clayton actually said that on 3 days, because he's the very first extended guest that we had here, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday.
He must have believed it.
Well, he did believe it too. I guess what you're saying, all kidding aside, I guess it could have more than a modicum of truth, couldn't it?
I think it could, and it only makes Ned Kelly, who suffered injustice after injustice, like being imprisoned for 12 days, 2 months, 3 months, and then found innocent, discharged. That child at 14 was in prison. He just had to wait until the courts came from Melbourne to Beechworth. OK, Yvonne, well then, historically, how did he go wrong? I think, you see, this going wrong presupposes that all was fair in the area, and it wasn't. The wealthy squatters were always at loggerheads with the small settlers, and the small selection people couldn't pay the police, and the police were found to be corrupt after the hanging of Ned Kelly, and they were always on the side of the big squatters. So now and then there was a cattle or a sheep or a horse stolen. Now, the first 3 times he was accused of stealing a horse, he hadn't done it, but he went to jail for it. And on one of them, and this was the thing that really killed him, in the end because he was hanged, was that he was in prison when a horse was stolen by Harry Powers. He was holding the horse when he came out 3 months later for Harry. He was put in prison for stealing that horse, and he was in prison when it was stolen. And Harry received 18 months, and he received 3 years. And he was 16.
But why? Why the injustice?
Because the police were being paid much more by other people, and they were against the Kellys, the Loys and the Quinns. And until Kelly was hanged, not one of them were allowed to be selectors.
Whilst you feel very strongly for the rights of Ned Kelly, I think you would have to concede that as the years roll on, more people are becoming across to your way of thinking, aren't they?
Well, they are.
He's now a hero.
Because, look, they've looked at the court case. They've looked at the murders at Stringy Bark. They've looked at this man's courage. Look, he has all the qualities of a hero. In the first place, he was so handsome. I'm wearing a brooch to show how handsome he was. At 20, he was 6 foot. And at 19, he was the unrivalled champion boxer of the North East. And he was courteous. He cared very much for his mother and all women. He was a superb bushman. The police just took 5 years to track him down, you know, with black trackers and everything you can think of. And furthermore, he was not only a horseman, but every time he held up a bank, he held it up for fine reasons. One was to...
Money.
Bert, that's not fair at all. It was money to appeal for his mother, who was put in jail, incidentally, for 3 years with a baby at the breast for attempted murder of someone that she didn't murder at all. That scoundrel, Fitzpatrick, a policeman, was dismissed from the court, from the force, as an unmitigated liar and a brutal ruffian. But she went to prison for 3 years. She was in prison when he was in prison.
Well, perhaps not in his lifetime, but certainly now in retrospect, Ned, or in this particular time span now, he's a very lucky man because he has someone like you to defend his honour. It's been good talking to you, Yvonne, and I'm sure that you have many, many thousands of people out there who, like you, feel that Ned Kelly was a hero.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yvonne. Thank you.